Gorgeous Grampa is the 14th episode of the 24th season of The Simpsons, directed by Chuck Sheetz. And when I read the description for this, the brief description, before watching it, I kind of thought, I don't think I'm going to like this because I don't care for wrestling, which is the main theme. But actually, it's not the main theme. The main theme is about villains and being a good person over choosing to be evil and nasty. And because that's so much stronger than the wrestling aspect, I actually really liked this, and I feel like Mr. Burns had a great role to play, but I'll talk about Mr. Burns in a moment. The narrative starts off with Homer buying a storage unit, and in the storage unit he finds a bunch of wigs and perfume and what seems like stereotypical women's costumes, and it turns out that they belong to Grandpa Simpson. And they learn that actually Grandpa Simpson used to have a secret identity or an alter ego called Gorgeous Godfrey, who was a wrestler and was seen as this villainous, horrible character who everybody kind of, loved to hate. He became really well known and really popular, and Mr. Burns, unsurprisingly, was a very big fan of Gorgeous Godfrey. And the way Mr. Burns finds out that this was Abe is rather entertaining from the Smithers aspect, but I won't say any more than that. And it looks like Abe might once again become Gorgeous Godfrey, but this time he has a young, impressionable 10-year-old grandson who's looking up to him and seeing him do all of these villainous acts, and it seems like Bart's getting the wrong idea. I don't want to say any more than that, but that's where the episode has a chance to focus on good and bad, right and wrong, being a villain. But it's not all the episode saying villains are awful, don't become a villain, because Mr. Burns sings this delightful song about villains, and he mentions all of these different villains from pop culture, and it was just so fun, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. There are quite a few good aspects in this, not just the message that really you don't want to aspire to become a villain, but there was a quote in this from Homer, and I think I wrote it down exactly, and he said, "Old folks' homes are full of people who used to be things." And it kind of suggested, well, it definitely suggested that once upon a time, everybody in that old folks' home, old people's homes, had a story, and you never know who they used to be or what their life used to be like. And also, ultimately, it doesn't matter who you are, but one day we're all going to end up the same. And I think it works both ways. Both, it doesn't matter what you are in life, we're all going towards the same place. But also, no matter where you end up, you can also have a past that's rich, that's full of vibrancy and stories, and it's important to look past the old folks' home and look past, the elderly individual who's in a wheelchair or who can no longer feed themselves. I feel like that's a really important message that's always worth remembering. Also, I think it was Marge who called to Grandpa, "If you don't want to die alone, come out of your room." And what happened then, I just thought was so funny. But again, it's also showing that actually this is a fear that pretty much all of us will have. So I thought it was actually really eye-opening and really moving. Yes, there are scenes with wrestling, and no, I didn't really care for them that much. But at no point did I ever think it was actually an episode about wrestling. I never felt like wrestling was too much at the forefront. So while I went into this thinking, I was thinking I wasn't going to like it at all. And actually it turns out to be really moving, really inspiring, very well done, very well written. I have really nothing but praise for it. The exact opposite of what I was expecting, to be perfectly honest. I really enjoyed it. I think Gorgeous Grandpa was quite a surprise, and definitely an episode that I'd be very happy to watch again.